A desperate mother's worst nightmare. 2 hours, 120 minutes, 7,200 seconds, and counting. Will she get her son's life-saving medication in time, or will the clock run out on her? Time was running out, and Sarah's world was crumbling with every tick of the clock. Her son, little Jaden, lay in a hospital bed, his body screaming in pain after a serious operation. The doctor's words echoed in her mind, "Painkillers, ASAP. His recovery depends on it." But here she was, stuck in a pharmacy queue that seemed to be moving at a glacial pace. The fluorescent lights above flickered like a cruel joke, illuminating the sea of white faces around her while she stood out like a sore thumb, the only black woman in the line. As she checked her watch for what felt like the 100th time, a bead of sweat trickled down her forehead. 1 hour 45 minutes had passed, and she was still nowhere near the front of the line. The cashier, a woman with a detached expression, called out the next customer. Again. And again. Each time, Sarah's heart skipped a beat, only to sink back down as she realized it wasn't her turn yet. The queue seemed to magically shift and weave, always leaving her at the back. She felt like a small boat adrift in a stormy sea, helpless and at the mercy of the waves. A well-dressed woman, clearly in a hurry, tried to cut in front of Sarah, flashing a fake smile. "Excuse me, I'm in a rush," she said, her voice dripping with entitlement. Sarah's eyes narrowed, and she stood her ground, her voice firm. "I've been waiting for hours." "I don't think so." The woman's smile faltered, and she huffed off, but not before shooting Sarah a venomous glance. The people around them seemed to be watching, their faces a mix of curiosity and disdain. As the minutes ticked by, Sarah's anxiety grew. Jaden's pain was surely unbearable, and she was the only one who could help him. She glanced around, searching for a sympathetic face, but everyone seemed oblivious to her plight. The clock on the wall seemed to mock her, its slow tick-tock a reminder that time was running out. Just as she thought she'd lose her mind, the cashier called out another customer, and Sarah's hopes were raised, only to be crushed once more. The door swung open, and a tall, imposing figure entered the pharmacy. He was a black man in a tailored suit, exuding confidence and authority. For a moment, their eyes met, and Sarah felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this stranger could help her. But he seemed distracted, glancing at his watch before disappearing into the background. Sarah's heart sank, and she refocused on the queue, her frustration and worry simmering just below the surface. Little did she know, her life was about to take a dramatic turn. 2 hours, 120 minutes, 7,200 seconds. That's how long Sarah had been waiting in that pharmacy queue, her anxiety growing with every passing moment. The faces around her had become a blur, their indifference a palpable force that seemed to suffocate her. She felt like a ghost hovering on the periphery of their lives, invisible and insignificant. The cashier's monotone voice called out another customer, and Sarah's eyes flashed with desperation. She raised her hand, hoping to catch the cashier's attention, but it was ignored. As she stood there, a subtle yet palpable shift in the queue occurred. People seemed to be pushing in, their movements sly and calculated. Sarah's eyes narrowed, and she stood her ground, refusing to back down. But no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't seem to move forward. It was as if the queue was conspiring against her, deliberately keeping her at bay. The clock on the wall ticked away, each second a reminder that Jaden's pain was worsening by the minute. Sarah's eyes welled up with tears as she thought of her son's suffering. She approached the cashier, her voice shaking with emotion. "Ma'am, please, I need to get my son's medication. He's in so much pain," she begged, but the cashier barely looked up, her expression unyielding. "You'll get your turn, ma'am. Please wait. 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 Wait." The word echoed in Sarah's mind like a cruel mantra. Just as Sarah thought she'd lose her mind, a commotion at the door caught everyone's attention. The tall, imposing figure in the tailored suit who had entered earlier strode towards the cashier, his presence commanding attention. His eyes locked onto Sarah's tear-stained face, and something in his expression shifted. He seemed to see her, truly see her, for the first time. His eyes narrowed, and he strode behind the counter, his movements swift and purposeful. "What's going on here?" he demanded, his voice low and even. The cashier stuttered, trying to explain, but he cut her off. "Fire her," he told a nearby manager, his voice firm. "This woman needs help, and she needs it now." The room fell silent, and all eyes turned to the stranger. Who was this man, and why was he intervening on Sarah's behalf? As the cashier was escorted away, the stranger turned to Sarah, his expression softening. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry this happened. Let me get your son's medication for you." Sarah's eyes widened in shock, and she stuttered, Thank you." But as she looked into his eyes, she wondered, what drove this man to take such drastic action? And what would happen next? As the CEO, Mr. Thompson, strode behind the counter, his movements exuded confidence and authority. He processed the prescription with swift efficiency, his eyes never leaving Sarah's face. "I'm so sorry this happened, ma'am," he said, his voice warm and genuine. "We'll get your son's medication ready right away." Sarah's gratitude was palpable as she watched him work. Who was this man, and why was he being so kind? As they waited for the medication, Mr. Thompson asked Sarah about Jaden's condition, listening intently as she explained the doctor's orders. His expression turned stern when she mentioned the delay, and his jaw clenched in anger. "This shouldn't have happened," he muttered, his eyes flashing with determination. When the medication was ready, Mr. Thompson handed it to Sarah, along with a set of car keys. "I'll drive you to the hospital," he said firmly. "We can't afford to waste any more time." Sarah's eyes widened in surprise. "But why?" she asked, her voice filled with emotion. Mr. Thompson's expression softened, and he said, "Because I know what it's like to be in a situation where every minute counts. My own son was in a similar situation once, and I had to fight to get him the help he needed. I won't let anyone else go through what we went through." Sarah's heart swelled with gratitude as she realized the depth of Mr. Thompson's kindness. As they rushed out of the store, Sarah felt a sense of hope she hadn't felt in hours. Maybe, just maybe, Jaden would be okay. Mr. Thompson's presence seemed to radiate calm and confidence, and Sarah found herself trusting him completely. As they drove to the hospital, Mr. Thompson's eyes scanned the road ahead, his jaw set in determination. Sarah noticed that he seemed to be taking a detour, and she wondered where they were going. "Is this the way to the hospital?" Sarah asked, her voice laced with concern. Mr. Thompson glanced at her, a hint of a smile on his face. "We're taking a shortcut," he said. "We'll be there soon." Sarah nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. But as they turned down a side street, Sarah noticed a strange look on Mr. Thompson's face. It was a look of determination, but also of something else, something that looked almost like guilt. What was Mr. Thompson hiding? And what would happen when they finally arrived at the hospital? As they arrived at the hospital, Mr. Thompson helped Sarah rush to Jaden's room. The little boy's face was pale and clammy, his eyes sunken with pain. Sarah's heart broke as she saw the suffering in his eyes. Mr. Thompson's expression darkened as he took in the scene. "I'm going to make sure this never happens again," he vowed. When they returned to the store, Mr. Thompson called a meeting with all employees. He explained the situation, his voice firm, and introduced a new rule: strict queue discipline, regardless of race or status. The fired cashier was brought in, her eyes downcast, and made to apologize to Sarah in front of everyone. "You will treat every customer with respect and dignity," Mr. Thompson said, his voice stern. "No one deserves to be treated like Sarah was today. I expect every employee to adhere to this new policy, starting immediately." The employees nodded, some looking sheepish, others relieved. As the meeting concluded, Mr. Thompson turned to Sarah. "I want you to know that I'm committed to making things right," he said. "This shouldn't have happened, and I'll do everything in my power to ensure it doesn't happen again." Sarah's eyes welled up with tears as she thanked him, feeling a sense of gratitude and hope. But as they parted ways, Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to Mr. Thompson's story. What drove him to take such drastic action? And what lay beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect CEO? As she watched him walk away, Sarah felt a sense of wonder and curiosity. She knew that their story wasn't over yet. As the days passed, Sarah's gratitude towards Mr. Thompson only grew. Jaden's condition slowly improved, thanks to the timely medication. The store, under Mr. Thompson's leadership, underwent a transformation. Employees were retrained, and a new culture of respect and empathy was fostered. Sarah visited the store often, and each time, she saw the positive changes. Mr. Thompson would smile and greet her warmly, asking about Jaden's progress. Their bond grew stronger, and Sarah found herself looking forward to these encounters. One day, as she was leaving the store, Mr. Thompson approached her. "Sarah, I want to thank you for showing me the impact of our actions," he said. "Your experience sparked a change in our store, and I'm proud of what we've become." Sarah smiled, feeling a sense of pride and hope. As they parted ways, Sarah realized that their story was one of hope and healing. Mr. Thompson's actions had not only helped her but had also transformed the lives of countless others. She knew that their paths would cross again, and she looked forward to seeing the continued positive impact of Mr. Thompson's leadership. The store became a symbol of change, a place where everyone was treated with respect and kindness. And for Sarah, it would always be a reminder of the power of compassion and the impact one person could have on another's life.